Yo, so we're back at it again for another One Piece video. This time we're going to be doing a review of the newest chapter, chapter 1159, The Island of Destiny. I meant to get this one out a lot sooner, and I was going to do my normal live reaction format, but I had a bit of an interruption during it. And at this point, it's been almost the whole week since the next chapter is going to come out. So 1160 should be out here within probably 2 or 3 days, if I had to guess. And I don't remember us having a break. I'll check. Yeah, we don't appear to have any breaks, so I would expect a chapter in a couple days. So I just figured it'd be better off doing a review style video. Keep it short, sweet, and a lot simpler. The cover story really does nothing for us. It's the 41st volume of Yamato's voyage and or her pilgrimage, and they're just eating apples. Oda's note really is just telling everybody, what that One Piece day is shaping up to be excellent. That's great. And then we cut into the chapter. It's 39 years ago on Hachinosu. It's where apparently Shaki is kidnapped by some group. Our guess would clearly be the God's Knights, would have to be whoever it was who ended up taking her, because they got in and out very quickly. It says it took the perpetrating party only a few hours, but they managed to take Shaki and kill Don Marlin and some others. Reason we've never heard of Don Marlin. He died back in 39 years ago. Everybody's pretty pissed off, and it says they're shaking with rage. They're either crying and they're upset, or they're mad that Shaki was stolen. Wang doesn't really seem to care either way. I would not be shocked if he was paid off for all this. Like, he told the people, whoever the God's Knights, like, he sold them the info, or gave them, like, told them where Shaki was, and when Rocks and them were going to be gone, and then they just pulled up on him. That's my guess based on the appearance here of where he has money and everybody else is freaking out. After that, really, it's just word spreading across the world. Everybody's really upset about it. Apparently, Shaki being kidnapped caused a halt in the world economy, which is absolutely bananas that she had that much influence over the world. After this, we end up cutting back to God Valley 1 year later, so what would be... There was 39 years ago, so now 38 years ago. And it's Garling coming back to the woman who he knew on God's Valley, who he had come across on his voyage, who he ended up getting pregnant. And she says, "Shamrock Shanks, this is your father. I always knew you'd come back. I'm so happy, Garling." And then while he's meeting his 2 kids, he kills her. It's pretty awful. He just kills her in cold blood right in front of both of the babies, and then he just tells them to begin preparations. Marines start swarming the island, and this is where we get to see a young dragon. And at this point, Monkey D. Dragon would be about 17 years old, roughly. Pretty crazy, because we really haven't seen him much younger than, if I had to guess, maybe in his 30s or 40s prior to this. So seeing him at 17 is pretty wild. We figured, or I believe we were actually already told at some point that he was in the Marines, but we didn't know how far up he went, and we still don't know now, but we know at this point that he's just, let me see. I don't know if they actually give us his rank. Let me scroll in. No, it just says he's a Marine. I don't think we actually get his title anywhere throughout the chapter, but it seems he's a lower level, probably just a grunt. He does look real cool still, even while he's real young. He doesn't like what they're doing. The Marines are sent into God Valley in order to round up the people, all of the citizens. And then, of course, the God's Knights are bringing the slaves to, like Kuma and Ivankov and Ginny and them, to use as rabbits. But they're supposed to gather up as many citizens here as they can and only kill the ones who are trying to actually fight back. Everybody else just round them up. Dragon doesn't want to do it, but he's told not to think about, what he's doing. Just do it to what the people up above want, and that's how it works in the military. We then cut around and get to see a part of that we've actually seen in a different flashback when we saw the Kuma's flashback, where we see young Ginny, young Ivankov, excuse me, and young Kuma all inside of, all on the... I don't remember. I think it was on... Yeah, it's on one of the local Marine ships that's nearby God Valley at that point, transporting the slaves for the Celestial Dragons. And they had just leaked the information about the prizes and what was going to be going on for the Celestial Dragon Tournament this year, and where it was going to be getting held at God Valley here soon. Big News Morgans, we get to see him, the youngest we've seen him, right off the dome. I actually don't know how old this would make him, but it pretty much kills the theory that I know other people have had, that one of the Roger Pirates is Big News Morgans. The guy who I think we do see in the background later in this chapter. Let me see. Yep, farther down on the chapter, we end up seeing, excuse me, a point where Roger and the Roger Pirates get the same news about where the Celestial Dragon Hunting Contest is going to be and where Shocky is. And he's like, are you guys with me, right? We're going to go fight. And Rayleigh says, of course we are. And we see 3 of the guys behind him, 3 of the crewmates. The middle one behind Rayleigh. So there are 3 guys behind Rayleigh. The guy in the middle there is the one who the theory is about potentially being Big News Morgans, because he wears a similar big build hat to him, and then he has a set of goggles, like I believe he also wears later on. And then he has like these little 3 kind of button things somewhere in his outfit that Big News Morgans also has in his outfit later on. So it's kind of just, it's a interesting coincidence if it's just a coincidence. So that's why I figured it was Big News Morgans, and this is just his full albatross form that we see him in all the time, right? And that human form is what he is when he's not, right? But I don't believe, based on what we're seeing here, they're getting that information straight from the papers. I believe. Let me take one quick look. Okay, actually, we don't know how they got this news. So, maybe the theory doesn't fully die. But I will say they are dressed differently. Like, the hat he has here and the hat he has as Big News Morgans are different. But we have no reason other than, we don't see a news coup anywhere or a newspaper, so we don't know how the Roger Pirates got the news. They probably got it through a leak, through like the same leak how Big News Morgans and other people got it, like that Ginny and them put out through like a transponder snail line. But they end up, that kind of kills that theory. It's kind of hard to say. After that, we cut to the Rocks Pirates making a decision on what they're going to do. They got the info, and then we see the Roger Pirates getting the info. They both instantly say, all right, let's move. We're going to go save Shocky. At this point, we don't know, but we come to find out later that Rocks actually has a secondary reason, or a main motivation, really, to go to God Valley, and it's not to save Shocky. It's because he has a wife and a kid there that he knows about. But because they actually took Shocky and took her there, too, it gives him all the more reason to get his whole crew involved. So it's not just a one-sided thing. It's very easy. Everybody's now involved in it and wants to go and handle the competition. Garp we also see going, and same, we've already seen that flashback too, where Garp freaks out about, oh my goodness, Roger's going to be at God Valley? Well, then I'm going. After that, we see the Rocks Pirates and Harold clash for probably the last time, if I had to guess, and running into each other for the last time. Rocks and Harold jump aside to talk to each other one-on-one, and we end up getting some crazy information that Rox's real name isn't Rox D. Zebek, but rather Davy D. Zebek. And that was a hidden name that he has that the world government's trying to hide for a long time. It says it's tied to the lineage of a legendary pirate named Davy D. Jones, who at this point in the story, I think we've heard the name Davy Jones maybe once. Maybe one time so far. But I know I'm pretty certain we had heard it. We had speculated that he was a D, and that he was going to play some relevance in the story, maybe from the Void Century. After that, we get to hear that Rox knows that 2 years ago, he had a kid, which would have been Teach. And to keep the kid and his wife safe, he sent them back to his hometown in God Valley and told them to rely on the Davy clan, implying that there are more Davy clan members, not just him. And telling him that his hometown is God Valley. He asks for Harold's help. Harold declines, says he's going to take in Rox, and it seems at that point Rox kind of mugs Harold and blows up part of their ship and then escapes, because we know they make it to God Valley, and we don't know of Harold and them going there. After that, all we see is some different spots. We see a little bit of God Valley, the citizens being tied up. We see Shocky held prisoner. All the Celestial Dragons spazzing about her being the prize and what they're going to do with her. We get to see a young Summers who says that he's going to make her property. Garling says he's going to make her his wife. Now, I do have something I'm a little intrigued in. When we see Summers in, like, Elbaf, he looks older, but he doesn't look that old. Maybe it's just how he's drawn. Garling looks significantly older, and I would guess they're at a similar age based on how they appear here. So I don't know if Garling just aged a little differently or worse or what. And then we get to see the other God's Knight that we don't know what their name is. It's a lady who has 3 buttons on her hat. Feel like we've seen her, I know at least one other time, but I think we've seen her maybe twice before in the story, and we get to see Gunko. Funny enough, though, I believe this is the same outfit and hairstyle that we see Gunko having her, like when she was having her flashback on Elbaf, like in between Emu taking her over when she saw Brooke and she started having that flashback of like calling to her father and then realizing it was Brooke. I think she's in that same outfit and hairstyle that she had then. So God Valley could potentially be where this kind of some of this breakdown kind of happens or where some of this incident occurs. I'm not sure how, but we'll see. If not, it's around this time period. We could at least guess. After that, the closing panels of the chapter are actually pretty wild. It's Monkey D. Dragon coming across a woman who's bloody and clearly dying, who must have been shot escaping. She's inside of a shack. She says, "Please help. My kids. You have to get them off the island. Don't let him take them." I don't know what she meant by him unless she meant rocks, which would be wild. But she then says, "Come here, Teach. It'll be all right. You have to survive." And we see Teach slightly younger than what we've seen him prior to Oda drawing him, where Oda's drawn Teach. I think it was in an SBS. He drew him probably like 5 or 6 or something, so pretty young. But at this point, he's only 2. But it's kind of wild. We get to see 2-year-old Blackbeard. We don't get to see her other kid, but she did say kids in plural and them specifically to make sure that don't let him take them. So there are multiple. The going theory recently has been that it's Buggy and that his name is Buggy the Clown, or it's, well, right now it's just Buggy, right, is the only name we actually have for him, and he's called Buggy the Clown. I guess his name would probably be something like Davy D. Buggy could be his name. He could be of the same lineage. And Marshall D. Teach could be Davy D. Teach. That's kind of what I'm thinking. Which is pretty wild. And that maybe Buggy doesn't even know his own name or heritage. That would be pretty nuts. And maybe Blackbeard does. But that's the idea I'm really getting by how we're getting teased as to not seeing this other child. I'm hoping we get to see a cut of the other child at some point here soon, and we're going to get to put together that it's Buggy, but that's where I'm at with it. Because we know Buggy is 1 year younger than Blackbeard, and she implies that she has kids. Well, here's the thing. If she has kids, and Blackbeard could be the older one, considering we don't even see the other one, assuming Blackbeard is the older one, because Rox would know about another kid, because he already knows about this one, which was Teach that he had 2 years ago. What if, in the time between having Blackbeard, right, having, Teach be born, right, and Rox knows about it, he goes back to see them, he then says, "Hey, in order to keep you guys safe, I need you guys to go back to my hometown." Whether he escorts them or just sends them there, whatever it is, he gets them there. But I believe, from the implications of how it's worded, the child had already been born. Who's to say that they didn't kind of get it on again, and then she get pregnant again? And then she ends up having Buggy about a year, give or take later, 9 months after, but a year or so after Teach. So that is a thing that can happen, and it's probably pretty close age-wise. I don't know if we know specific days, but we know that they're within a year of each other. So there is, I think, a bit of a time gap where we can say that could have happened, and that it's Teach, or that Rox has another child. It's really wild. That's what's really making me think that it's Buggy, because it has to be somebody within a year of Blackbeard, and we need to not know their lineage. So, but that's how the chapter ends. Like I said, we have no break it up here, so we're going to get another chapter here in just a couple days. And that's really it. This is a really good chapter. It was a lot of fun. I really wish I could have got it out a little sooner, and I'm going to get the next chapter live reaction out a lot sooner. if you enjoyed the style of video where I more or less just talk about the chapter and kind of read over some of the key points and state things that I think are important, feel free to let me know in the comments. Feel free to like, subscribe if you haven't, and I'll be back around here in actually just a couple days for the next video. So I hope everybody's had a good week. Hope everybody has a good week or so to come, and I'll be back next time. Later, guys.